In this lesson we will be taking a look at our spherical Pave commands and also be looking at our morph with point command, and then we will be implementing these commands to create a cage pendant. So we will start off by taking a look at our spherical pattern and Pave commands. We'll create a new file, generic template, name the part, okay, so we have a couple of spherical and partial spherical commands here. This spherical pattern allows us to pave a sphere, and this partial spherical pattern allows us to pave a partial sphere, a dome. Okay, so let's start off by creating a sphere. We'll place it at the origin, the global origin. Let's give it a radius of 7.5 millimeters, so a total diameter of 15 millimeters. Confirm the operation. Okay, now the spherical Pave, this one here, is really quite simple. You simply pick our sphere, spherical object. Then we have some options here, some division options. Okay, we can divide here. I usually like to use the try divide and increase this number. Okay, the more we increase the number, the smaller our Pave stones will become. Okay, so this is our quad divide and our try divide. Okay, so you can play around with these until you see something you like. And then we have different types of Pave. These are the points that we have our stones at. We can specify the distance between our Pave. Okay, so some of these fields are like we've seen before. And then we have a few more, a stiffness, shrink. Okay, which we can play around with to see their effect. Finally we have the elevation to give our stones an elevation. Okay, so this is a pretty straightforward tool. And once we have our Pave, we can add our Pave prongs from our Gems and Settings tab. Okay, and then we can add our cutters. So that is our spherical Pave command. Okay, it's pretty simple. With our partial sphere, our partial spherical Pave, there may be a few more steps that we need to take. I'll drag my model stop prior to my Pave and prongs. Okay, now let's trim our sphere. We'll trim it to the top datum. Let's pick it from history. Confirm. Okay, so there's our trim. Now we will shell our partial sphere. To remove some of the material, pick the shape. Let's give a thickness of -1, so we'll have a thickness of -1 millimeter in here when we pick this face to be open, like so. Okay, now before we perform our spherical Pave, our partial spherical Pave, we will insert a few curves to use as references. First of all, we'll set up our spherical surface. I'm going to inlay a surface that we can Pave onto. So I'll start off by creating an ISO curve on face. In our wireframe tab, ISO curve on face. I'm going to pick our multiple isocurves option. The face is our space here. Okay, we can see our UV lines being thrown in. I do not want a V line, I just want this one U line, which I'll be using to place other lines with precision. So let's confirm the operation. There is our U isocurve. Now I'm going to middle click to place a new isocurve. I'll use my first option, the face, same face. Now the point I'm going to place with precision using my input option. So I right click along. I'll be going along a curve, this curve, a distance of 0.5 millimeters, half of a millimeter. Confirm. Okay, so our point has been selected. We can see our preview isocurve there. That looks fine. We'll confirm the operation. Now I'm going to use this curve to perform an inlay on this face. Okay, we'll come into our shape ribbon tab, inlay, pick the face, pick the curve, an offset of negative to 0.4 millimeters. Okay, and we've inlaid this face with that curve. Again, this will be the surface that we pave. And we now have an edge. Okay, now I'm going to perform another isocurve command. Okay, we'll have our first option. Our face will be our newly inlaid face. Our point, okay, we're going to pick again with precision using this isocurve. We right click along this isocurve, a distance. Okay, now we can increase or decrease to see the distance we want. This will have an effect on our partial spherical pave pattern. Okay, I'm going to leave it about 1.4. Okay, making changes to this value will change our upcoming partial spherical pattern. So let's confirm the operation. Okay, I don't want both, I just want a V iso line, this one running around our partial sphere horizontally. Confirm the operation. Okay, now we can erase our reference isocurve, this one here. Left click on erase, pick the curve, middle click. Okay, we have a second curve there, I think because I forgot to change my previous isocurve option to V only, so we'll just erase this other curve. Okay, now we can use our partial spherical pave command. Okay, so we left click on our partial spherical pattern tool. Okay, we pick our surface, our partial sphere. The centrum, okay, we're going to define the centrum in relation to our isocurve here. We right click, center of curvature, pick our curve. It's going to pick the centrum in the middle here, center of curvature of that isocurve. Okay, and this is going to affect our placement of stones. Okay, we can see control points now on our partial sphere. Again, we have our quad and tri-divide options, which we can just play around with until we see something that we like. Here we have our different types. Okay, this shrink will tighten up our pave. Increasing the shrink will tighten it up. Here we can increase the distance between our stones. It's at 0.1. Let's give them an elevation. Okay, and you just continue until you see the pattern that you like. Confirm the operation. turn off our JCD datums. Okay, we can erase this curve now. Okay, so there is our pave, our partial spherical pave. If you see some gaps that you want to fill with stones, you can always come into your Gems and Settings tab. We can place stones or use our Fit Stones command to fit stones in the gaps, like so. Okay, we can do this all the way around. I'm just going to show you one. We should give this one an elevation. Okay, there is no elevation in our Fit Stones command, so we can come into our Shape, Move component, we'll just give it the 0.2 elevation like the other stones. Okay, and then we can come in, use our Pave Prongs command. Pick our stones, make some changes. Confirm the operation. Okay, and then we come in with our cutters. Use any of the cutters on here. Okay, so this is one way to get a partial spherical pave. I will show you a different method now. If we come back prior, or just after our inlay, I should say. Okay, I'm going to delete the rest of history using the End Replay button. Okay, I'll erase this line. I've got those two lines there. Okay, now instead of performing a partial spherical pattern, we can use our Gems Between Multi-Curves command. Okay, so we haven't seen this pave command before. Come into our wireframe tab, we'll use our ISO curve on face. We'll use our multiple ISO curves option, pick the face. Okay, we do not want a U number. Increase our V number. Okay, now we increase the V number to an amount that we like, bearing in mind that the distance between our two adjacent ISO curves will be the approximate size of our gemstones. Okay, so let's say we have a value V equals 8. Okay, so we're going to be using our multiple pave between multiple curves to place stones in here. Let's confirm the operation. Save our work. Go into the Pave tab. Gems Between Multiple Curves. Okay, we can specify our stone type, our material type. Pick the surface. Then we pick the curves that we want to pave between. Okay, now we pick our first curve as being this outside edge here. Okay. Our next one, we just keep picking our curves, and you can see them building up like this. Okay, so the place that you pick on a curve will also determine the starting point of the gemstones. Okay, so this is something to bear in mind. You may want to play around with it to get the alignment of stones that you wish. Okay, so we've picked all of our curves there, including our lower edge. Let's increase our number. Okay, so this number corresponds to the number in each row. Okay, let's spread our stones to spread them out. We can try to even our stones, has no real effect here. Let's add a minimum distance. Give an elevation to our stones. Okay, so here is another way to perform a partial spherical pave. We'll confirm the operation here. Okay, and then we can erase all of our curves. Set our entity filter onto curve, window pick the curves, erase. Okay, now we need to place the final stone at the top here. Use our place stones command. And you just see what fits in. Okay, so let's increase this, say 2. Okay, that seems a pretty good fit. Let's give it an elevation, confirm the operation. Okay, and finally we can add our prongs in, our gems and settings, Pave prongs, pick our stones, play around with our numbers. I'm not going to go into great detail here, you know how to use these. Okay, come into our Tools and Cutters tab, choose cutter. Okay, pick our stones. Again, I'm not going to go into great depth here. You may want to watch out for the cutters coming through your shape like this. Okay, you can always use your azure cutters, or we have this honeycomb azure cutter that we'll see at a later stage that will produce a nice honeycomb cutout for your stones. Confirm the operation. Merge the cutters. Okay, so this is by no means perfect. I'm just demonstrating it quickly. Our prongs look all over the place here. Okay, you then want to merge the prongs. Okay, now whilst we're here, let's take a quick look at adding a backplate to our partial sphere. We do this by simply extruding this inside edge one direction. Let's say an offset of -1, Boolean add to our original shape, confirm the operation. Okay, there is our backplate on there now. Okay, maybe you want to do a bit of pierce work on here. Okay, we could come into our designs, sketches, ring tab, pick something to pierce out. Okay, there's other sketches that we can use. A whole load of them. Let's place our stars. Place these on the top datum. Confirm the operation. can then enter into the sketch. We can form a scale, right click, pick all, scale uniformly about the origin. Let's change our step size, 0.0, say 0.01. Decrease the stars to a size that fits into our shape. Just say 0.4 scale. Exit back out into our part level. Then we simply do an extrude, cut, extrude, remove. Pick the sketch as our profile. Do a symmetrical. We know that we have a 1mm thickness plate here, so let's just say 1.5mm. Do a extrude, remove. This shape. Okay, you'll want to make sure that the remove doesn't take out material from the top surface of our partial sphere. Okay, so there's the pierce work. Then we can always come in, add a post, cylinder, give it a radius of say 1mm, length of 10 as a base, and then you can just place the post. Let's drop that radius down to half, we'll have a diameter of 1. You can just place the post where you want it. Okay, you could place with precision by using our inputting options. Right click between, okay, between say this point here. If we set our entity filter onto edge, between this point and the point up here. If we want to get this point exactly at the top, we can again use our input options to find that exact point. Right click, curve surface intersection, pick the curve as the edge. The surface, we'll use this datum plane, our side datum plane. Again, it picks the point exactly at the top there. We can then specify the distance or the percentage between that we want our post to be. Let's say 80%. Confirm. We need to give this a negative value now. Okay, and there's our post placed with precision. Okay, we might want to place your post at the center, in which case we can fill this gap by using our simplify command. Okay, we haven't used this before. Our simplify, we simply pick our inside faces, and when we simplify these faces, it's going to close up the gap like so. Okay, and then we can place our post at the center point, right click, center of curvature, this edge. Okay, we could have just placed it on the origin as well. Radius 0.5, got the rest in there, confirm. Okay, so that is how to place the backplate and pierce through. Okay, we'll save our work.